My name is Yong. I'm from China. I've been in the United States for 12 years. I started my school at Yale, and while I was a student, we started Junzi Kitchen in 2013. And we opened the first store in 2015 in New Haven. So I remember my first day of get contact with American culture is where I try McDonald's in China, or Coca-Cola in China, or even Pizza Hut. That's like understand American culture, but also Italian culture to have this kind of pizza, right? But also in China we call it pizza bing. It's a basic bing to us. So from very beginning, understand what people eat is the first step to understand people. Junzi in Chinese means the person with integrity. It's a lot of kind of idea, values with this ideal personality in the traditional Chinese culture. So we want to revitalize this traditional value into a modern context, provide a daily option for food and also for gathering for culture. During our daytime, we basically offer a bing and noodles, which is a more like simply ways like a wrap in the bowls. It's very similar to a lot of other fast casual places, like offering similar shaped things, like a burritos or rice bowls, but it's actually authentic Chinese food from northern China. In the trimbing, it's a basic wrap. We have like beef cucumber wrap. We have this classic combination that what we grew up with, like pork cabbage wrap. Also in noodle bowls, we have jia noodle. It's basically a new take on a traditional noodle, jia noodle in northern China. We have noodles such as like tomato pork. It's a tomato egg sauce. It's a also very traditional way of cooking it. So that's how we grew up with the everyday food we have. Currently, the most Chinese restaurant in the U.S. is outdated in terms of service, in terms of business model, in terms of a lot of experiences. People love Chinese food, but right now there's a gap between what people really want and what the market is offering. In 5 years, we want to become the new icon of Chinese food, because when we're seeing the Chinese food market, overall there's very lacking of brands. The current existing Panda Express and the PF chains, they are the older generation. They've been there for 30, 20 years. So we're not replacing, but adding a new brand to this market, saying this is a new type of Chinese restaurant. It's more representing the real Chinese modernities of food. That's the idea of that. And we want to become that brand when people recognize it in the mainstream market. Long-term goal, we want to become the peacemakers of making people trust each other more. So in the world, we want to create this new idea of we should not hate each other. Like Junzi means peaceful, being together but not the same. It's an idea that was 2,000 years ago. So why not just bring it for today? That we definitely need that right now. Conflict is always based on the short-term political gains or loss, the demand economic growth. But for the long run, it's about the trust, understanding of the people. So it's very easy to be hostile to the people you don't know or you don't appreciate. It's much harder to do some hostile stuff to the people you actually know, like your neighbor or your friends. So make friends is the most important part to build the foundation of have a more peaceful world in the future. So, but there's no better way to make friends other than just start eating together. So the very beginning we're thinking, it's hard for us to change anything that politically the government is trying to do. But what we can do is create a brand that people have consensus, like common ground. I love that food, like me too, because it's our food, but also it's your food. So that build together is the most important part.